Hello, everybody. My name is Oliver Bass, otherwise known as Bass from the Past, joined alongside by none other than Pyro J, and this is the esports.net recap show, a weekly show recapping key moments and key events from around the world of esports in the last week. And Pyro, we're kicking this one off today talking about League of Legends yet again. This time, not necessarily as much about the esports scene as much as it is the updates. The 13.1 patch is officially here to kick off the 13th season, and Pyro, with that comes a whole lot of changes.
Yeah, not quite the competitive scene as that's wrapped up, but in lieu of that, people have been waiting for this new Season 13, which is finally coming January 10th, but gotta talk about the changes. There's changes to items, there's changes to champions as well, and I want to talk a little bit about the things to look forward to the champions. You've got Jace and Sion, two champions that are looking at some big changes, some big buffs. For Jace, we got that AD, the melee W, and the melee Q, both supposed to get some solid buffs. And for Sion, the base health Q and the smash should upgrade these champions to be seen as maybe some higher rated picks in the solo queue battles in competitive League. And when you're solo queuing, of course, in League. I want to talk about the top laners as well, though, because we've got some rather impactful nerfs. Aatrox, one of those OP top laners who may not be as OP now. Their P damage, healing during ultimate, and our movement speed are being nerfed. K'Sante, another one who is experiencing some very impactful nerfs on their base movement, passive damage, W min damage, and W max damage. There's some other changes as well, Bass, like Dr. Mundo and Fiora are experiencing some nerfs, but I don't see those as extremely impactful that are going to change their current impact of the game thus far. We have a lot of different champion updates and changes. You should check the patch notes for that kind of information, or the article for esports.net. But Bass, I want to hear more about some of the items and apparently some of the Jax changes that are coming.
Jax seems to be one of the highlights for this current patch here. He has had a lot of different changes. His Q ability ratio has been removed entirely. The E damage has been reduced. His passive has been reduced. Overall, Jax is just a little bit different, and the big thing for him is now that he's got a lot more magic damage as a whole. He deals magic damage as a whole, gains bonus AD in just comparison for every single shot that he takes. It is just overall, Jax, they're kind of reworking him as a whole, and a lot of this is to, again, try and get him back into the meta. As you mentioned, a lot of metas have been set during the Season 12. Now we get to Season 13. They're trying to change them things up to make some more champions more viable going into this next season. And in addition to that, they're also trying to, I guess, give everybody the best items possible. A whole lot of items basically got buffed here. The Axiom Arc, Horizon Focus, Jax Show, the Proteon, Rod of Ages, Sephiroth's Embrace, Winter's Approach, and as well as adding the Runes Legend Tenacity. Pretty much everything I just mentioned has been buffed at this point, whether that is a buff in the increase of health or increase of damage, ability power, whatever it be, or just making the items cost more and then making them thus, because of a higher cost, a lot more viable for the actual items themselves. The only things that are really getting reduced at this point is the cost. Some of these items are basically staying about the same with a little bit of a bump here or there to either health or damage, and then their cost is being reduced. A good example is Winter's Approach. They're having the cost reduced from 2,700 to 2,600, but they're also increasing the health from 350 to 400. So overall, they're trying to make a lot of the items that I just mentioned a little bit more competitively viable, so they are giving them a lot of bumps. And again, we don't really know what that is going to behold, because Season 13, Pyro, as you and I were talking about, seems a little bit different than some of the seasons of the past.
Yeah, those changes to the items definitely make them more incentivizing, almost to the point where it's like, okay, how do I not start using these, right? So it's going to, make those metas ever changing, which is what we love about League. And why not make it more changing? Folks, in Season 13, you get to witness the two splits during the season. So you're actually going to see some new ranks and rewards updated between the two splits of the season. Bass, definitely a lot to look forward to, but not just for our League players. Let's talk a little bit of Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare 2, and the Warzone updates that are not confirmed, Bass, are not confirmed, simply rumored that some new game modes, well, some pre-existing game modes that may be coming into these new games, Plunder and Cranked, potentially, and the data mining information could make a return.
It's interesting to see here, especially considering where we are at right now in the life cycle of Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 is not just Modern Warfare 2 alone, in addition to that being the Call of Duty standalone here. We also have Warzone 2, which is a technical part of Modern Warfare 2, kind of all wrapped into what is the current cycle of Call of Duty, as they are now putting out a new game every 2 years. And well, this new game came out a couple of months ago. We are on the verge of Season 2, believe it or not. When we were reporting on Warzone coming out back in November, felt like we were still kind of a little bit hesitant, and now we're not necessarily all that different. Warzone 2 has seen a lot of good reviews, but also a lot of bad reviews, as the glitches don't seem to stop. A lot of the bugs that we talked about earlier on haven't necessarily been solved, or if they have, they've been replaced with other issues. So for Warzone 2 right now, it feels like they have to do a little bit more to try and capture some of the audience that was there in the original Warzone, and same with Modern Warfare 2. We spoke about this before, but one of the biggest issues Call of Duty has had is being able to keep their audience despite having what is usually an initial explosion of people playing the game. So as it stands right now, the two game modes in both Plunder and Cranked could be fascinating to revitalize a lot of this sort of fan sort of enthralling of the actual game. I'm very interested to see what they become, but it's also, again, just two game modes that I think a lot of people can unanimously agree are we're very excited to see back in Warzone and back in Modern Warfare.
Yeah, think about all the clips that you see these days of gameplay in Call of Duty. It's them jump, hopping, skipping, sliding around, doing insane movement moves. Well, Cranked is a game mode that is all about that. You get faster, speedier, more hit the ground hard and running every time you get a kill. If you stay still, you literally explode. You can't stay still. It's just high octane. It's fun. You feel like Octane from Apex Legends when you're moving around everywhere in the game. I love it. But I do want to talk more about Plunder. That was one of the game modes for me that stuck out, and I still have memories of playing with my brothers and my cousins, and it's one of those Warzone games where you don't have to worry about having one life and you're dead and gone. There's infinite response. You're just trying to get as much money as you can, or you're just trying to relax and have a good time. Like, you can actually play Warzone without worrying about that one life that you have. I think it really helps do exactly what you talked about, Bass, is you have that initial surge of players in the base that are excited about the new Call of Duty game, but how do you keep them interested? How do you keep that involved? If you want to play into that casual audience, I think Plunder is one of the best ways to do that. Queue up with your friends, have a good time, trying to get as much cash as you can, but also just enjoying the game modes. Could be two game modes that do exactly that, best keep people interested in the game.
We gotta hope so. Call of Duty, like we said, is on a 2-year cycle as it stands right now, so they really do have to do the most with this current title while they have it here. There are no guarantees that these are going to necessarily revitalize the fan base, but there is also a hope that that everybody that is in the fan base is going to be at least interested enough to give Warzone another shot, as well as Modern Warfare 2. Two games, like we said, who have been extremely popular and very much talked about over the last couple of months. Even these type of leaks are still getting huge amounts of replies and traction, but the unfortunate reality is that it feels like over and over again we continue to talk about Activision and the new Call of Duty titles here on the esports.net recap show, and continue to have a question mark just kind of attached on every single statement we make about this game. Pyro, I am excited to see what this does to the sort of Call of Duty franchise and what this is able to make an impact for their 2023, but all we can really do is sit tight, play a little bit more of Season 1, and wait till Season 2 comes out. And what you guys have to do is tune in next week. Thank you again for tuning into the esports.net recap show. My name is Oliver Bastion, alongside by none other than Pyro J, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.